back for the last beer. So, you guys had a chance to actually enjoy the last beer. What do you think?
My first impression is it has no nose whatsoever. It just really smells of nothing. I don't know how you can make a beer smell of nothing, but it doesn't really smell of malt, yeast, hops.
It's a glass of water, man.
But sparkling water. No, it tastes of more, but not. I'm just a bit underwhelmed by this beer. I couldn't even pin it on a style. It's maybe just a pale ale. It's a little bit bitter. It's a little bit dry. I'm not a fan.
Okay, Killian?
Interesting in that it's incredibly difficult to tell what it is. Like Kieran was saying, it's the hardest one to tell anyway for me, even style-wise. I thought at first that it might be an IPA, that it was really fruity and sharp and kind of bitter on the nose, but to taste it, it's not really that. It feels like it's slightly stronger than the first and the third beer. Like it's stronger than about 5%. So again, maybe 6% and upwards, maybe. But it's very difficult to tell the style. It's fruity. It's not bad. I don't think it's as bland as I think Kieran probably feels it is, but it's very difficult to put a style on it.
Sarah, I know you have to leave before the end of the show, so what do we get your impression?
Yeah, I kind of agree with the nose that like there's not a lot of aroma. The aroma that I do get is maybe just a slight bit of yeast, even sort of an autolyzed yeast. But there's not a lot of aroma. Now, the body of the beer is very carbonated. It's very effervescent and a bit malty, but there's not a lot of hops going on. So I guess that's my first impression, is bubbly and a bit malty, but I wouldn't say it's like a red. I'd say maybe it's a orangish, amber type beer.
Ben?
I'm just going to disagree with everyone.
Go ahead.
I think it doesn't have much on the nose. I agree with Kieran. I don't think that's particularly important. It's not wine. I think it's a lot stronger than everybody else. I think that the alcohol is maybe hiding the hops a bit. I think it's got a very warm mouthfeel, and it's going down the back of the throat. And I'm just going to hazard a guess. It's someone's effort at a double IPA.
And what ABV would you give it?
I give it 7 or 8.
Okay. Sarah, you wanted to say something?
It doesn't really seem thick enough to be a double IPA. I would expect a double IPA to be a bit chewy.
Yeah, but double IPA is more of a name.
Yeah.
Your average double IPA could easily be just an American IPA.
Yeah, again, styles, they're so transient.
Yeah. Kieran?
Yeah, there's a bit of alcohol in it, all right. I think it's more than 5%. I'm just going to go with Killian. 6%. It has to stick sometime, maybe even twice. Yeah, it's not doing a lot for me. I like more aroma from both beer and wine.
Okay, guys, just so I'm going to interrupt for a second here. I know Sarah has to leave and she has to take a train, and I'm going to allow her to take off the blindfold. I will show what it is. I'm going to ask you. No, you keep the blindfold.
Sorry.
No, you guys keep the blindfold. And I'm going to show Sarah what it is. Don't say it. Please don't say it. Keep it for yourself. I don't want to leave some kind of mystery on your ride home. Okay. Sarah, thank you very much for coming. Your input was very much appreciated. I hope you can do one of the show again soon.
Definitely.
Would you be interested to come back?
Yep, definitely.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, Sarah. So
Bye.
Bye.
they
Bye,
can't
Sarah.
see you. They can't see you.
I miss you.
Anyway, I hope you had a good time. Killian, back to you.
I think it was Ben who said it tastes like someone's attempt of a double APA, but not a very good one. That immediately put a particular beer in my head, but I'm not gonna guess at it yet, if ever. So, but yeah, like I don't think it's as bland as Kira was saying. It's got some flavor, but it's more sweet than it is bitter. It's more malt than it is hoppy. It's fruity enough. The nose doesn't tell you much, but I think there is some fruit in it. Maybe some slight citrus and berries and stuff like that, but really not much.
Could it be that the fact that we've been tasting 6 beers already would actually disadvantage
It
this
could
one?
be.
It could be, but I think all of the beers, maybe bar the first one, which was quite hard to tell as well, like if it was a pale or red ale. But I think this is probably the hardest one to put a style on. Everything else was like the last one tasted very much like a wheat beer. The stout tasted very much like a stout. This is quite difficult to pin, but it could be a stronger pale ale or an IPA.
Do you think it could be an Imperial Red? You were saying it had a bit more malt, and it's not quite as hoppy as an IPA. So.
I do know one particular Imperial Red. I think it's the Burn Paper Bag project, but I think that one was quite.
Very roasty.
Yeah, it was.
More roasty than this.
It was much more malty than this one, to be honest. Probably a lot more flavour. I wasn't quite a big fan of it, but even so, it had a lot more flavour than this one, I think. Not quite sure, to be honest.
I think there is flavour going on here, but it's just the lack of nose, the lack of it just having an aroma of anything just leaves me a little bit cold. And again, it's very hard to pin down. It's that little bit stronger, but it's, I don't know, it's hasn't quite come together for me, this one.
Okay, you guys can take your blindfolds off. Okay.
Before we decide, I want to defend this beer a bit. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it. I never worry too much about a nose. You rarely smell a beer in a pub. Like, smell it as you're drinking it. You actually have to consciously try and smell something. And blind tastings make you focus so much more on a beer. The amount of times you sit down into a bar and see a new brewery, go, I'll have a glass of that, turn around, chat to someone, sip away, enjoy the beer. But think about it, absolute zero. You get asked 3 months later, did you try that beer? And you go, oh, I think so. Whereas, so focusing on things like the nose, it's not, I'm not saying it's a brilliant beer. I'm saying it's perfectly palatable. It seems very strong. And when you're getting that strength of alcohol, you'd like it to be hidden with a bit more punchy flavour, and it's not quite there.
You should get a better return. Like, I mean, if it's stronger, then there should be more of a complex malt character, or it should be balanced by that. Okay, it's my opinion.
I think it's
like, but
getting a bit of a slaughtery. I'm not sure if it's that bad. No.
I mean, it's probably my.
Describe the flavour profile.
I think it's caramel. It's caramel malt, and that's not a bad thing. But caramel malt to me typically would be offset by something else, or there'd be something else in it. But it's caramel malt. It's fruity. To me, it's a bit samey.
It's almost.
It's not bad. It's not very
like
bad.
An imperial lager, or Marzen almost.
I don't know what I go that because I really like American.
Do you think it could be a
I
really
haven't even
nice
had
beer
a chance
that's
to
too-
reveal the beer, but the beer is actually White Gypsy American Pale Ale,
Okay.
and it's a 7.5% ABV. So you get the ABV pretty. I think you did too.
Six
yeah.
up. Yeah.
The ABV guessing machine.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be slightly disappointed if I was to buy that, because I actually have been meaning to buy that bottle as well, of an American Pale Ale, and I got this in return. Again, it's not necessarily like it's a very bad beer. It's just
No, it's not.
I suppose again
I'd
this
be that done.
American Red.
American Pale Ale.
Pale Ale, yeah.
Well, it is on the amber. Maybe it's the color of the studio, and because it's It's actually quite late. I mean,
dark
dark
pale ale.
inside, but it's on the reddish amberish
But for me, like
side.
it's a quite a malty pale ale.
Yeah, for me, I,
Or
if you
7.5%.
it's not an American style pale ale for me.
By Gypsy standards, they tend to make some pretty strong beers that is very well hidden alcohol. That was pretty unsubtle, a bit of a blunt object by their standards.
This is actually aged in oak,
Oh,
which is probably why we don't taste the hops this much. But there's a little bit of vanilla, I think.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
get any of
I
that?
mean-
I'd be very interested to try this prior to hoppier beers. I think the cumulative effect of bitterness in the mouth is a bit unfair, maybe on the last one or two beers.
yeah, and it's true. Like I mean, we've tasted like maybe 2 or 3 beers, certainly that were quite like they're definitely bolder than this one. So I mean, maybe it's not very fair that this beer is getting the kind of.
Let's all go and have another one sometime.
Well, in all fairness, I tried to get it from
Except for the wheat beer at number 5.
yes. I didn't had any of the beer before, so I went by what was on the label. It was actually I think it was a very interesting experience. We're almost running out of show, and Blusher is next.